Share screen.
So I think we're live, but I think our audio is us.
I know.
So that was a quick intro. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Moms in Real Estate in the Morning. Myself and Kristen are so excited because today we have a master class with our very own Tina Gamble. And so Tina and I were chatting a little bit before. This is a little different than previous master classes she has done. This one is for the mama that's already in production. And as we were talking about, this is near and dear to my heart. That was me. And so if you're somebody that's already selling, $8 to $10 million in volume, and you're just kind of feeling like more sounds great, but it also sounds extremely destructive to my personal life because it's already on fire selling $8 to $10 million. Tina's going to talk to you today about how 10 times easier is actually easier than 2 times easier, but only with the right systems. And so anyways, I will let Tina jump right into it. Hi, friend. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing great. It's fabulous. It is 8:30 a.m. here in Hawaii, so it is a good Monday morning. But if you follow me on social media, you know I've been up for like 4 hours already.
Flash if you get text from you.
What?
I said flash if you are in a text group with you. I know you've been up.
Yes. Oh, so yes, I'm good, and I'm really excited to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Well, I just have to say I love your background. It's so on brand for you.
I just redid my office. I got like the you can go to my what, can you hear me?
Yeah, You're good.
I was saying if you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I'll walk you through like the design and prep. But yeah, so my branding colors for Epic Hawaii Homes here is like teal. And then I got a splash of pink. So the 3 walls around here are this teal color that you see on this photo. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about my new home office. It just feels more me too. Like when I think about when we did the Moms in Real Estate Live podcast event in April, I'm going to say something that Rosemary said that really resonates with me is I'm a very bright person. Like you're not really going to see a lot of neutral colors with me. Yes, I wear black sometimes and neutral colors sometimes, but that's to like maybe match a bright background that I'm going to have. But I'm a very bright, colorful, outgoing person. So at the end of the day, like it totally is me to have like pink and teal and like pops of blue in my marketing because I'm a colorful person, as Rosemary said.
I can't even imagine you in black and neutrals. You are definitely colorful.
Yeah. I'll wear them sometimes just to match whatever's in the background. But yeah, so yeah, as you will see in a second, I got pink slides.
Yeah, let's get going. Let's see the slides. Do you have sharing access?
Yeah, yes. All she has to do is pull it up and then I'll pop it up for her.
Share screen window. Let's do this one. All right.
There you go. You're ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. So today's masterclass is calling in the Realtor Mama Top Producer. Okay. So if you are a mom in real estate, and let me pull up the chat since we're going to have comments here. Okay. Now I can see all the comments there. So if I'm looking this way again, it's because I'm looking at the comments. All right. I want you to, this is a no judgment zone, but I'm really curious what your sales volume was last year because I'm talking in sales volume versus like quantity of families helped. So let's talk about sales volume. Pop it in the chat. 1.2 million, 7.6 million, 10.4 million. Go ahead and pop it in the chat. I'd really love to see. And congratulations on even selling 1 home last year. But go ahead. Let's hear where you're from. Let's hear what your sales volume was last year. And let's get the ball rolling from there. All right. So I will walk you through some things. Last week, I did a boot camp, and that was 4 days. And then Friday, I did a masterclass. So this is actually my 6th day in a row to be presenting. So I got this high and energy going. If you were a part of my boot camp or if you went to the masterclass, you may hear a couple things that I did talk about, but you'll also hear things that I didn't talk about because overall, my messaging and brand is very much the same as far as really wanting to help moms in real estate get more systems in place because more systems in place means more time with your family, more living the life and having a sustainable real estate career, not just a fast driven career where you're on the verge of burnout or breakdown. And my specialty is really stepping into your business when you are on the verge of burnout or breakdown and helping you get the fastest fix possible with this. I have different services such as a 4-day boot camp, which is amazing for agents that are selling anything, whether you never sold a home or not. The boot camp is an affordable 4 days of coaching with me. I run that a few times a year. Then I also have a 4-month coaching container, and it's divided into agents that sell 0 to 10 million, agents that sell 10 mil plus, because the pain points are very different there. So when it comes to building out your business, having the right system, support, structure, all really matters as you step into the CEO role of your business. So thank you everybody for chiming in and talking about your sales there. All right. So a little bit about me. If you scan this QR code, it's going to take you to the Moms in Real Estate podcast. I got the privilege of doing an episode with Kristen, and that was really exciting. So if you just really want to know more about me and my real estate business, where I come from, things like that. If you don't know already, I bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii when I was only 18. I moved here after saving up for 10 months at 19, and I would skateboard and catch the bus. And so I really come from nothing. And then since then, I've had an amazing time in Hawaii. Out of the 14 years that I've been here, I'm going on my 10th year in real estate. So I'll hit a decade here in 2026. So majority of my years here in Hawaii have been in real estate. And when I got into real estate, I still didn't have anything. In fact, real estate has really been a driver for it's really helped me build that generational wealth for my family. If my husband and I wanted to, we could cash out of all of our homes and just move somewhere in the mainland and not work a day in our life again. But I really love helping families build generational wealth through real estate. And I really love helping mamas get their time back in their real estate careers. To me, it's about helping you get systemized, organized. I believe, again, everyone deserves to have systems. So that's why there's, different ways to work with me. I can get to talking, but I meant to say also, so like I have the different levels of working with me. So I have the boot camp, then I have the 2 4-month cohorts, but then I've also done VIP sessions with agents that sell over 100 homes a year. And they're just like, I need systems. Like I needed systems last year. I needed them the year before. Like my business is running. I'm forgetting people and I don't want this to happen anymore. Like help me, save me. And that's like another tier of working with me as well. So from agents that have never sold a home to agents that are just like capped out, burnout, crying in their car because they don't want another client. They just want to go to their kid's soccer game because without looking at their phone. They just want to like go on a vacation, but they can't even think about, going on one event or going on a date with their spouse without thinking about what's going to be blowing up in the background. And a lot of times that does come from being a reactive realtor versus a proactive realtor. So my goal today is to really help you see your business in a different light and start thinking as the CEO, not the operator, not the person with a job, but the person with a business. All right. So this is something that I like to start a lot of my sessions with, and that is really just setting the tone for what we're talking about today. So systems equal success. Goals are for people who care about winning once. Systems are for people who care about winning repeatedly. If you have not listened, read, or even heard of the book Atomic Habits, you need to go get that right away, because habits are what really are going to help you be an amazing real estate agent, but also balancing it with motherhood. You need to have a mantra. I always like to say, pull out a pen and paper if you got it right now and write this down. The more I systemize, the more I can breathe. My business stays organized so I can live with ease and embrace the life that I want. Now, I want you to, if you wrote that down or you're writing it down right now, I want you to highlight, circle, underline the life that I want. I want it to be very much what I want, not what Sally Sue is chasing with no kids, not what James is chasing in the luxury market with no kids, no wife, no other responsibilities other than himself. Like, you got to really take yourself out of any comparison. It's the thief of joy, as we all know, but you have to remember that you are running a very different business. And sometimes it may even really take looking at another agent in your market. Maybe they are an amazing top producer that is selling in our market. Our number one agent sells like 240 million with a whole team of assistants. And she's like a grandma now. She sells luxury, like $14 million homes left and right. Okay. So when it comes to working, like thinking about like the lifestyle that she's living, that's a little bit of a different lifestyle than maybe what I want to live when it comes to, you know, how much you have to be on and work and things like that. So sometimes if you think about like that top producer in your market, if they're posting on social media often and you're seeing their day to day, like how much time are they doing things, like how much of the time are they doing things that maybe you don't want to do? Maybe you see them working all day, all night, 10 p.m. still at the office, and you're like, oh no, like I want to be in bed by 10. I want to have dinner with my family every night. I want to make sure I'm at all my kids' sports activities. Like, no, I'm doing this very different. And I want you to know you can do it differently. You can still be successful. You can decide what you want. So when you say this mantra to yourself and you're thinking about your business, I really want you to think about the embracing the life that you want particularly. So if you got anything out of that, your business is very different than everybody else's. So stop comparing yourself. All right, this masterclass is for you, especially for those that are selling 10 million plus and you feel the pull for more. You want to sell more. You want to sell 15 mil. You want to sell 20 mil, but you're like, oh my gosh, I just sold 10 mil and I barely got by. Like I don't think I could raise my sales volume at all. So how can you raise your sales volume without working more? You want to double with intention. You don't want it to be more chaotic. You're done being the bottleneck. Now, it's easy to come up with a million excuses why you think you're not the bottleneck in your business, but you also have to have a moment of truth and think, am I the bottleneck? Does everything have to go through me? Is it really the case? And that's like the first step is like admitting and realizing that maybe you have to make some changes because you are the bottleneck. So the other thing is you want a business that supports real life. So today, the goal is to really talk about having a business that is going to support your life, whether you have 1 kid, 5 kids, 7 kids, whatever it may be. Think about the business that supports your life. All right. You're not burnt out because you're lazy. You're probably on the verge of burnout because your business only works when you do. And that is more so of a job, right? When you think about a job, you think about other service industries. I was a waitress before I got into real estate, and your tables only got served if you were actually out there serving your tables. So that's a job because my tables are only getting ketchup brought to them if I am bringing them ketchup. So that's a job. Same with real estate. If your clients are only getting served because you're doing everything, that's a job. But when you think about running a business, then you have to think about it working a little bit differently and what kind of things can be running in the background when you are not clocked in. So at the end of the day, you can think of how many people you have working. You don't have to work the 40 hours a week. Like something that I love that I heard before is like, let's say you have 4 team members. Those 4 team members are working 40 hours a week. 40 times 4, 160 hours a week is getting worked without you. You could work 20 hours, but at the end of the day, your business would, if you work 20 hours, your business is working 180 hours a week. So leverage is the smart move. Delegation and having others help you with your business and the growth is truly treating it like a business and not just a job. Now you're providing jobs to people though. You're providing opportunities. This could be assistants that are in your area. It could be a newer agent that is really wanting to learn the ropes and you get some help along the way. It could be virtual assistants. It could be anybody that, you know, you're giving this opportunity for a job for, which in return is also your busy business. you're helping people, but you're also helping others get jobs in your local market or virtually as well, providing them a better quality of life as well. So why I build systems for my family. There's a picture at my wedding with my hubby. That's my little daughter Maya on the right and little Gigi in the top left corner. So I have a 4-year-old, that's Gigi on the left. She's a little more tan there. And then there's Maya, and she is 15 months old. And for me, that is my family. So I've got my husband, my 4-year-old, my 1-year-old, and we have a dog. So my family matters so much to me. And before if I'm being very vulnerable and honest with y'all, I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. And for me, family matters a lot because now I have my own family and it's my own chance to do things my way and break generational trauma and live like present for my girls. Be there for them. Be calm, cool, collected. Don't be a parent that raises my voice or punishes maybe the way that I got punished. Like, it's an opportunity for me to really shine in God's light of being a good mother to my kids and being a good spouse to my husband. And to do that, I can't be carrying the mental load of everything in a business and in motherhood. So the more at peace I am, the more great of a mother I am. And so then it's like working backwards. Like, if you know you got to be at swim lessons at 12 and it's 30 minutes away, you need to leave the house about 40 minutes prior. You need to start getting the kids ready about 20 minutes prior. You need to make sure you have water bottles. You need to make sure you have everything. Like, that right there is a system for getting to your swim lessons on time. So what is it that I could have thought of? Like, for me, it was like, how can I have more peace in my business? Like, so when you start backtracking and thinking about where does peace come from? Where does peace start? How do I get this in my business? It really trickles down to systems. And I know that systems are not the most appealing thing. A lot of people out there are talking about lead gen, and you're seeing you could have shiny object syndrome because you're looking at all these lead gen tips. Like, if you go to your Instagram, any social media, your screenshots, anything like that, a lot of times you're probably saving ideas for lead gen and not as much thinking about systems, because systems get put on the back burner a lot until we are on the verge of burnout or breakdown. And then we realize, oh my gosh, like, I could have prevented this. Other people that maybe look into systems are people that lived in, a high structure. They worked in a high structure environment before. They owned other businesses before. So they go into real estate already thinking like a CEO and operator. Maybe they were in the military before too, and they had that structure. So not everyone is actually thinking about systems. And so I don't want you to feel behind at all if systems have not been on your radar and you haven't been thinking about systems. Like, even if you're an agent that's not selling 10 mil, and when we're talking about this, like, maybe this could be your 2027 or 2028 goals. A lot of times we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and we underestimate what we can do in 5. So if you're in here today and you're like, okay, I'm not at the point to where I'm about to be talking about some leverage things. Maybe I'm not at that point. I still want you to get out of this today that you can and you will get there one day if that's what you want for your business. So again, recapping this slide, peace, having more time for my family, and peace came from actually evaluating my business as a whole and starting to get everything out of my head and thinking about what can be systemized. If you're doing an email twice, it can be a template. If you're always checking in with your clients about your listings every week, you need to pick a day and a time that you're taking care of this. If you know that you need to schedule showings for the weekend, you need to pick a day and a time that you need to be doing that as well. So think of your business as a whole and how that goes. Sorry. I don't know if y'all can hear my kiddos. I'm like, I got the kids in the house too. So, all right. Let's move on. Okay, so the real problem, burnout is not a personal failure. And yeah, just nudge me, Kristen, if anybody is asking questions along the way, okay? So the real problem, burnout is not a personal failure. Growth without infrastructure creates chaos. So if you're really trying to grow your business, you don't, a lot of times you really probably, like right now, you may not be needing more leads in your business. You may be just needing to nurture the people that are already in your database. When it comes to all the people that you have had conversations with over the last 6 months that maybe said that they want to buy, but they weren't ready, what's your follow-up look like? How are you engaging with them and staying top of mind with them? You can't really think about adding, of course, you can't really think about adding more to your plate unless you have the systems to hold the people that you already have. So when you're thinking about your business and you're thinking about growing, a lot of times when you grow, yes, there's going to be a lot more essentially low-hanging fruit where they are so ready, eager, and they're there. But there's also people that need to be nurtured. Maybe people that you did develop a good relationship with and they just aren't ready. Maybe they're waiting on their next tax return. They're getting ready to do their taxes. Maybe you could be reaching out, following up with them, but you're too busy because you're running around doing all the things in your business that you don't have the mental capacity to be available for them. So just keep in mind that most agents aren't broken. You're really just struggling with systems. If you're feeling like, if you're crying in your business, let's just be honest. Like we cry in real estate sometimes because of the being on the verge of overwhelm, burnout, or breakdown. And that's a sign that you need a change. If you're going to bed and having a million things in your head, if you're playing with your kids and you're struggling to be fully present, you just got to think about, how did I get here? And what am I going to do tomorrow to fix this? And take it one step at a time. So businesses will outgrow their systems. So the systems that you have as an agent that's selling 0 to 5 million are going to be different from 5 to 10, and then 10 to 20, and 20 to 30. You're going to have to reevaluate your systems. The more often, the better. Obviously not daily, but you should be having a time block weekly of CEO business hours to dive into your business and think about what you could be doing to improve things. And I'll talk about that here in just a moment in a little further detail. So the lie about scaling. So 10x is easier than 2x, but that's only true with the right systems and support. And when I say support, I mean support on a lot of different angles here. So support could mean a mentor, a coach, somebody, a guide. Support could be the support you have at home, the family, your spouse helping, maybe childcare, anything that has to do with the home life, maybe somebody coming and helping you with laundry, a house manager, things like that. Support is also your team, your operations team, your virtual assistants, your showing partners. Support means a lot of things when it comes to what I say when I mean support on this slide. So scaling without structure is going to equal stress. It's inevitable that if you are trying to scale your business and you don't have systems, structure, you don't have accountability, you don't have all of these things in place, you're gonna hit stress. And maybe you've been scaling and you haven't felt that stress. Well, I will tell you, without the structure, that stress is around the corner. And when it hits you, it's going to hit you like a truck. And you're going to want to really reevaluate your business. And I say this from experience of working with moms in real estate, working with agents who are just like riding the high of closing after closing after closing. And then they just get hit and they're crying in their car because they don't want to go on more showings. They just had a client reach out and they're happy that their business is growing, but they're looking at their kids and they're just like, I missed moments this week and I don't want to keep this on. I need help. I need to change. So again, growth without the support is going to equal that burnout, that on the verge of being burnout or breaking down. You know, you have to be more preventative with that. Just actually, a couple days ago on Friday, I was on a Women in Real Estate Top Producer panel here on Oahu. And it was really awesome because I was the one with the youngest kids. I got a 1-year-old and 4-year-old, as I said. But there was also somebody on there, one of the other mamas. She has like a 14, 16, and 18-year-old. And then another one, she's just had her first grandbaby. So she's been in the industry 28 years. So it was really awesome because our answers reflected where we're at in our seasons. And I thought it was really empowering to listen to the different stages and learn from them as well. The one that's been doing the industry 28 years, she did talk about her highs and everything that she was doing to grow her business and how it was amazing. But at one point, her husband came and looked at her and said, hey, like if you don't make a change, like I'm going to have to start hanging. I'm getting goosebumps even repeating it. He told her, if you don't make a change, I'm going to have to start hanging your photo on the wall around the house so the kids know what you look like. And for her, that was her wake up moment. I literally got goosebumps with that because that was her wake up moment of like, oh my gosh, like I'm not around. Like, what do you mean? So she started to implement more boundaries and have better systems in place and structure for her business. And you would think that this panel that we were talking about on Friday, it was actually a really great realization for me at the end of the panel as I was like, oh my gosh, like we weren't really sitting there talking about how to get more business and top producer this. And this is like, all the things I'm doing to get more listings. It was like more about what are the things that you're doing to avoid burnout and breakdown. And it's the simple things. It's the simple habits that add up. It's one of the agents said she's had this as a rule since her kids got phones. It's like no phones at the dinner table, and we all eat together. So if she's running late from home from showings, like they're waiting for her and they're sitting at the dinner table together. And she said it's been really great. She's the one with teenagers, so she was expressing that, it's a little bit of different combos as they get older too, but they keep their phones away and they spend that quality time together. It really comes down to like those simple little things that you're implementing in your day. About me, I eat as many meals as I can with my daughters. I do about 3 meals a day actually with them. If we can do snack time together too, we do. But breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I am truly sitting down. I have to eat. They got to eat. And so it's like, well, why not do it together? Spend this time hanging out and talking together. And, my 1-year-old's already seeing that. My 4-year-old's used to it. She loves it. And it's just that time to connect. Mealtime is connection time. So think of like the little things that you can be doing to avoid burnout. What would bring little moments of joy throughout your day? And a lot of times I really like to say, like, think about when you're 80 years old, like, are you going to look back and say, man, I wish I would have sold more houses in 2026? Or, wow, I had a 1 and 4-year-old in 2026 and I wish I would have taken them to the park more. What are you going to wish you did more of? Because if you're on here today, you're already producing and you're already selling, then my goal today is to help you think about your business in the bigger picture and how you can avoid burnout and breakdown. And it really comes down to systems and support. All right, so the CEO shift. Okay, top producers, they're not working harder. They're not. Like, in fact, a lot of top producers I see in my industry are on way more vacations. They are living their best life because they've built a team, they've built the systems, they've built a business that can run without them being constantly micromanaging it. And that's going from thinking like an operator, somebody who has a job, to being the CEO. The CEO is also responsible for building the infrastructure. So that's you. You need to get that built. And an operator does everything solo. An operator is wearing all the hats. We see it all the time. Realtors, we are content creators, we are listing managers, we are marketing experts, we are therapists, we are home inspectors, we are mediators. Like, we are all these things as a real estate agent. So what kind of things can you delegate out? And when you think about delegating things out, you don't have to always think like that means that I'm not doing a good service to my clients. I think it's actually the opposite. I just went on a couple listing appointments this weekend, and one of them I got there talking about my whole listing processes and my systems, which I could talk about for hours and hours and hours. But it like really does establish me as a listing expert in the local market. And I break down and I tell them the systems that I have. I tell them about the help and the support that I have. And I'm showing them that, hey, by the way, like I got people that are doing these things. So that way, if you want to call me, you shoot me a text, call me, we'll jump on the phone. Because as much as I may be doing for your listing, I have help. And I am always available to make sure that you feel supported, whether that's trying to help you find the right moving company, find the right, go where I'll drop boxes off at my client's house. Like, how am I able to do all of that if it wasn't for systems, hiring, and delegation? So systems, you can't hire and delegate until you have systems. So the systems are the foundation of everything, but it's also so empowering when you can show up to a buyer consult or a seller consultation and tell them, hey, I've got the time and energy and space for you. Right. Sorry, y'all, that's my doggy. Sounds like we're probably getting packages. So red light versus green light activities. So this is a really fun exercise that I encourage everyone to do. It's one of my favorite, but it's not just for you to do. It's also for your team members to do as you grow more and more. So red light activities are the repetitive tasks that, let's just take a buyer consultation, for example. For a buyer consultation, what do you have to do? That would be the green light activity. It's high impact, only you can do it. Okay. When you think about a buyer consultation, are you scheduling the consultation? No. A buyer consultation is you showing up to the consultation. That's what you have to do. You don't need to put this on the calendar. You don't need to email the invite. You don't need to send that reminder. There's those things that are red light tasks that are taking up your time. And I know when it's like, oh, putting on the calendar takes 2 minutes. Sending the email takes 3 to 4 minutes. Scheduling the Zoom link takes a couple minutes. That only takes 10 minutes, not a big deal. It is a big deal because when you're doing 20, 30 Zooms a week, all those times add up, and that is preventing you from dollar producing activities, which are your green light activities that only you can do. So the next step is to actually take this and do a time audit. Okay. 1 week, track your time. There's a really cool Toggle app that you can do to track your time. It's what I use to help my team track their time. And you need to start finding the red light tasks that you can automate or delegate. That's the start of clarity. When it comes to actually looking at all the tasks that are on your plate, what tasks can you get off your plate and ASAP? I also have my team members do this because, when I'm ready to hire another team member, the person that's been with me longer gets the seniority of like, okay, what tasks do you enjoy? What tasks do you feel like are red light tasks and keeping you from being in the creative role for helping my business grow because you've been with me for X amount of time? I need your brain to feel free and creative to help me grow. So what tasks can we get off your plate? Because scheduling social media posts is like something that we can teach somebody to do very easy. And you can be working on making more social media posts with me versus doing tasks that are preventing you from getting the creative work in. Things like that. All right, so here's a couple CEO tasks that I want to go over today. Oops, pardon me. Okay, so you're the CEO. You need to literally be thinking of your business so differently, even if it's just for this hour masterclass. So this means you have to set the vision for your business. Okay, what production level are you building towards? What clients you say yes to and no to? Oh my gosh, you have to have clients you say no to. You have to. You go on a listing appointment. It's just, you have to have clients you say no to. You go on a listing appointment, they're negotiating your commission. They're saying that, they don't really see the value in realtors. In fact, they don't even want to pay a buyer's agent commission because what's a buyer's agent doing besides just opening doors and how are you any different than them doing for sale by owner? If that's your niche and you are there to convert the for sale by owners, then by all means go after that. But if you're at a consultation and they're telling you they don't really respect realtors, hey, you can refer that to an agent that maybe will say yes to that client that is after for sale by owners. And they don't really care if that agent values them or not. But for you, is that really going to be good for your mental health to take on a client that doesn't value you and respect you and see your worth? That's a client I would say no to in a heartbeat. Another thing is, do you have to get another MLS to work with that client? Is that really doing the client service if you have to get a whole new MLS and learn a whole new area that's 3 hours away from you? That's a hard no for me. When you're the CEO of your business, you got to decide what's most important. Yes, it could be a $1.5 million deal that's 3 hours away, but refer it out and do the client a good service by giving it to somebody that's in that local market that can give that client the attention that they deserve. And you take your 25% referral fee and you work on the business that is within a 5-mile radius of you. So you're closer to home, closer to your babies. How you want to run your business at a higher level. When you really think about again, I want you to think about your business 5 years from now. If you're selling 5 mil now and you want to sell 15 mil within 5 years, we got to talk about that. We got to vision plan it out. We got to really map out how you're going to get there. You're not going to get there overnight. It's going to take work. It's going to take systems. It's going to take hiring. It's going to take investments in your business. It's going to take delegation. It's going to take leverage. but you're not going to get there. You could get there by accident, and then you're going to be scrambling, or you could get there with a plan. So as the CEO of your business, you need to be setting the business vision and how you want to get where you want to go. Like any business, when you think of CEOs, their job is to visionary the business. Like when you think of any CEO that's out there thinking about how they're going to make their product, how they're going to make their services better and better, what are they really doing? So CEO task number 2, you're building leadership, not just support. High-level agents don't need more help. They need the right help. They need the right leverage. They need the right people in the right roles. Now, some of you may not have any virtual assistants right now. You may not have an admin team. You may not have an operations manager team. You may not have anybody right now, but some of you may have a virtual assistant right now and you feel like they're not doing things the way that you want them. And really, that could be down to them not being in the right role. Because when you're hiring a virtual assistant or you're hiring an assistant in general and expecting them to be you who's already wearing all the hats, like that's not going to happen. They don't have your life experience. They don't have your knowledge about real estate. They don't have your eye for what you like on design for marketing. So you trying to duplicate yourself is like really hard unless it's somebody that's by your side 24/7. So when it comes to hiring your team, it's really helpful to have clear roles. I'll walk y'all through what I did. So I have an operations manager. Her name is Laura. She's been with me for over 4 years. She used to be here in Hawaii with me. Now she's in California. She still works with me remote. I do have a personal assistant who's kind of like an event planner here on Oahu. And then I also have virtual assistants. Out of the virtual assistants that I have right now, they are just like assistants. They're so amazing that like, to me, they're a part of my family. They are here helping me grow. So assistant number 1, besides Laura that I hired, besides Laura and Lynn, my 2 in-person, my in-person one and my California one, my virtual assistants are from Brazil. And Cecilia was my first hire out of the virtual assistants I have now. But when she got hired, she learned the admin task. She has a degree in graphic design. She's really great with making things pretty. She's got a very good creative side of her brain that I really wanted to let her have that shine. But first, I really wanted to make sure she knew how to schedule Zooms for the buyer consultations and seller consultations. I wanted to make sure she knew how to work on the email templates. I wanted to make sure she understood the back end of my business before I moved her to her role in marketing. So I have her as my marketing expert. And then after that, I went ahead and hired an admin virtual assistant, somebody that fits the role for being an admin. Her name's Anna. She loves spreadsheets. She loves automations. Her brain is working differently than Cecilia's. And so it really comes down to having the right leverage, the right help, and having people in the right roles. When you think about your clients as a realtor and having a home inspector go to the client's house and do a whole home inspection, that home inspector is a general home inspector. Yes, if you want a virtual assistant, you can hire, or an assistant operations manager, you can hire somebody that is more generalized. But as you grow, you really have to start thinking about having the roles filled for the right person in the right role. Who's really good at scheduling things and managing your calendar? Who's really good at client experience, making sure that things are good, and event planning? Who's really good at making sure all the data and all the systems and softwares are up to date? Who's really good at taking your vision for a new Canva carousel for your Instagram is coming to life in the way that you want it to do, where you're not spending hours on Canva when your job is to be doing dollar producing activities. So as you start to build out your team, you've got to think about being the leader and putting people in the right place. So that way they're happy and it leads to longevity and loyalty in this business for you as a role on your team. You got to stop being the bottleneck as well and making sure that everything is smooth sailing and you do your weekly meetings with your team, but you're not micromanaging your team. You're giving them the chance to be creative, especially after they understand the role. Hold tight. Am I missing any questions? I'm just making sure. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so CEO task number 3, allocating time, money, and resources. When you are the CEO, think of the CEO of Nike. they're thinking about, okay, how much are we spending on Google Ads this week? So they're meeting with their ads team and they're talking about how much you're spending on Google Ads. That's their job as a CEO, is to like solidify, okay, how much are we spending on ads? Now, are they going and learning ads, and are they going and working on the content for the ads, and are they posting the ads? Are they reviewing the analytics for the ads? No. They are saying how much money they're going to spend on ads, because there's the CEO and they need to make sure they're getting the right return on their investment. So where are you investing your money for the higher return on investment? You're the visionary. So for your lead gen pillars this year, have you allocated out money for your marketing? When people call you with a new idea, because we're realtors, we get calls all the time. Hey, this is so-and-so. I'm helping other agents in your market with this, this, and this. Like, my biggest thing that I tell them is like, hey, you can email me, but I've already set my budget for marketing expenses this quarter. And I don't touch that. Like, my marketing expenses for this quarter are done. So at the end of the day, like, if you have something to pitch me, like, I'm not about to be a fast sale for more marketing. For me, it's about thinking about my business and where I want to go with my business. And is that something that's going to get me to where I want to go? Now, there's occasional times where I'm like, okay, like if that's the case, then maybe I need to cut something out or do this or do that. Or sometimes I have pain points in my business and I really need to fix. And that may be something that will help fix a pain point where I don't need to hire somebody else, but maybe I get this new software or whatever it may be. But you have to like really treat your business like a CEO and think about, how am I going to get to the next level of growth? What systems get built and what systems get outsourced? So that's kind of like what I was just talking about now as well, is like, so what automations, delegations are going on, and then what, like, so automations would be systems getting built, and then delegations are systems being outsourced. And what activities are actually moving the needle forward? When you think about your dollar producing activities, you should really be tracking which ones are moving the needle forward, getting you more closings, getting you more FaceTime with clients, getting you more community outreach to where people are seeing you, getting to know you, like you, and trust you. Top producers are scaling by eliminating the low dollar task. You got to find out what your dollar is per hour. Let's just take an easy example of house cleaning. You know, when it comes to cleaning your house, it may take somebody 4 hours and it's $200 for those 4 hours, but you're worth $100 an hour. So in 4 hours of you cleaning your house, that would be $400. But in 4 hours of somebody else cleaning your house, that's $200. So did you just lose $200? No, you actually saved $200 because you had delegated that out and you worked on dollar producing activities, or you worked on getting more peace back in your business, in your mind, in your headspace, more mother time. You have to think about your dollar per hour and what are low dollar per hour tasks that are not really worth your time anymore. And it could start with something as simple as hiring a house cleaner, hiring a transaction manager, hiring a showing partner. You got to look at your business as the CEO and allocate where the time, money, and resources are. So driving culture plus execution, CEO task number 4. So the way that you're running your business is going to be repetitive in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, it has your final touch on it. So how listings are launched and everything you're doing for your listings is the culture of your business and what you're showing up as when you go to your listing appointments and you're showing them, I do this, 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 and this. How your buyers are handled. Are you able to tell your buyers at the end of your first conversation what the next steps are? Hey, the next steps are you get pre-approved. After you get pre-approved, you're going to get an email with your shopping numbers. After you get the email with your shopping numbers, I'm going to set you up in the MLS, and I'm going to email you and let you know I set you up in the MLS. After that, within a week or 2 weeks, we're going to do another Zoom consultation where we're going to talk about house hunting online to save us time out in the field, looking at houses that I know that you're not going to like. We're going to do a Zoom. We're going to break this down. That's like the culture that I am driving, is like, hey, I am here to help you find the house as efficient as possible too. I don't need my clients to go through 20, 30 homes until they find the one, when we can narrow half of that down on a Zoom consultation and I walk them through stuff that they may not know from a real estate perspective. So culture is showing up with this professionalism, this expectation management, this next step, this leader. I'm showing my clients why they hired me and how I'm here to execute and deliver for them. So if I'm here to execute and deliver for them, I actually got to have standard operating procedures that my team is going to use, and they need to know exactly how to do that. And they need accountability without micromanaging. That's why we do team meetings, and that's why we talk about things. You don't want to be spending your time micromanaging your team, because you are worth more dollar per hour than doing that. And it doesn't lead to a good culture for your team as well. So if you can get a better onboarding experience, orientation is where you're talking to your clients, but if you can get a better onboarding experience for your team, you have more chances of longevity and loyalty from them. Okay. Solving the highest leverage problems. Yes, as real estate agents, we do have to put out fires, but are you really putting out those fires, or do you have people that you can count on to help you put out those fires? So for example, if your home inspection for your buyer client shows that there's a couple leaks in the house, well, all right, are you going and calling all the plumbing companies and getting quotes and figuring this stuff out? Like, no, I don't. I haven't done that in years, because for me, it's, hey, Laura, can you help me figure out like what's going on? What is this like? Figure out what the home inspector is trying to say the problem is. Take that problem to the plumbers and explain that to the plumber, so that way we can get some plumbers out and get some quotes and get some peace of mind, and then come back to me with like a summary report. So then I talk to the clients and I'm there for them, guiding them. And then I'm talking to the seller side and negotiating on behalf of my clients, et cetera, et cetera. So putting out fires is like, yes, we have fires that we have to put out, but there's like levels to it as to how much you are actually managing. So as the CEO, you need to be making sure that your business is running and you're doing audits and you're being intentional with everything that's going on within your business. If there's missed follow-ups, you're coming up with a plan to make sure that that doesn't happen again. If your pipelines are disorganized and you can't look and say who is where and what and when, then your job is to say, hey, delegate, we need a better system for this. I need to know when everything is due and when it's due. So for me, I like to have my home inspection contingency on my Google Calendar. I actually even have a whole team epic escrows at gmail.com where all escrow transactions go. Nothing else goes there. No marketing emails, nothing else besides my escrow transactions go to this one email, and it is organized very beautifully. So that way I go in there and I can just pay attention to that. My team helps monitor all my other inboxes. They even monitor this one and make sure everything's sorted, but we set up auto filters. But I need to know where everything is at what time. And so years and years ago, I decided that I want to make sure that I have that email, but then I also have a calendar from that email. And so I have a calendar for Team Epic Escrows that shows certain contingencies that I want to be able to pull up my calendar and say, oh, their home inspection contingency, that's due tomorrow. Like, I need to make sure that this document is signed. Now, my transaction manager actually does that. But let's say that I'm waiting on a negotiation and I'm like, oh, it's due tomorrow. My transaction manager has probably already sent an email about it, but it's helpful for me to see as well. I like to make sure that I have double checks. So although my transaction manager's on it and will send a nudge and remind us like, hey, your home inspection contingency is expiring tomorrow, I still like, what if she's sick? What if her kid's in the hospital? What if something happens? Like, I still want it on my calendar so that way I know as well when I'm looking at my calendar and being organized. So those are some CEO tasks. Now let's talk about also being a CEO of your business. Do you have an LLC set up? Do you have an S Corp? Do you have a business bank account? And do you have a business credit card? So for Hawaii, we are not allowed to receive commissions to an LLC. So the money has to go to my personal checking account, and then I have to transfer it over to my business checking account, which I use American Express. I also have an American Express credit card because I love spending money on business expenses. Don't get me wrong, because I love the points that I get. I am like racking up these points for airline. And for me, like literally last year was my first year to fly first class. And I went to Arizona for the Moms in Real Estate event actually, but I did it all off of points, and it was so cool because business expenses, but it also makes it really easy for my bookkeeper, my accountant to track everything as well for the business. And then I do have a way that my team tracks expenses and has receipts and set up. It was actually so funny because when I showed what I've had my team do for years to my accountant, a bookkeeper. She was like, that was the most beautiful thing ever. And I'm like, yeah, I love spreadsheets and being organized. But she's like, I don't know people that are that organized. And it's like, I can tell you where every dollar goes. Back when there used to be this app called Mint, it was a part of QuickBooks. Like, I knew where every expense went from day one in my real estate career. And it was super helpful to track what comes in and what goes out and where things are going. So that way I could reevaluate things. So am I saying you need to know where every dollar goes? No, but you should have a really good idea of where most of your money is going. The more you can monitor it, the more you can track it, the more you can grow and multiply your money, because then you'll know where your highest return on investment is. So setting up an LLC and an S Corp and paying yourself through that way, it also will help save you a lot in taxes. So I'm not a tax strategist. I am just a realtor, and I'm just trying to have you, this is more food for thought for you to find, go talk to your tax strategist, go talk to your accountant, your bookkeeper, whoever it may be that's going to help you, your CPA that's going to help you set these things up if that's the best move for your business as a whole. Because if you're selling 10 mil plus, like, you probably should have had this set up a little bit sooner. So let's get that set up sooner rather than later. Even if you only sold 2 million last year, you should maybe start considering this, because 2 million in your market could have been 20 homes. Who knows? All right. Let's talk about listings. When it comes to being the CEO, a lot of times I feel like the more experienced agents are the ones out there running listings, and it really does help when they have more credibility, more experience, more systems in place. So listings are a chance to really shine when it comes to stepping into the CEO and operator, stepping out of operator and becoming the CEO. So this is just a quick example I wanted to show. When you think about your listings, you can run listings more from, being a CEO than buyers. Buyers is a lot of showings and, walking them through educational pieces. But with listings, you actually have a product to sell. You have a home that you need to put on its best display for your clients to make sure that the home is getting the best possible light and attracting the most exposure, so that way it gets sold for the highest amount possible. So here's just some food for thought for you to think about when it comes to systems. I do run a lot of listings, and my listings have 160 steps. I'm probably only doing a few of those. Like, you'd be really surprised at how little I actually have to do, because most of listing stuff can be systemized. These are some examples, pretty flow desk emails of things I do for my listings, just to kind of give you an idea of, systems and how I keep running a high listing business. Monthly newsletters. This is something that is really helpful to stay top of mind with your database and just like let them know what's going on and your life, your business. I love my monthly newsletters because I also tell more than I'm sharing on social media. I share a lot on social media, especially on my stories and stuff, but a fun example is last year, January, we bought a home and I didn't even post about it or anything. As a realtor, I don't know, post everyone else's congrats and successes. But for me, I didn't post that we had bought a new home, but I talked about it in my newsletter to my clients. And so that was like really cool. Or we went to Disneyland in December. And so I talked about it in my newsletter and shared some pictures that I literally haven't even shared a lot of my pictures on social media yet. So it's a great opportunity for you to stay top of mind with your database and, just having a system to not forget about the people that are already in your world. And I like to share fun, like, tips and tricks. I like to put in here. So this is like my insert, but I also like to do Small Business Saturday shout outs. And so my team picks one from that month and then they'll highlight it. So right here, Small Business of the Month, and just a company that I'm highlighting. All right. So my role in your growth, when it comes to thinking about systems and structure and everything that you can do to grow your business, my role is really helping moms in real estate overcome the hustle culture and realize that structure is going to last longer than anything, and you want it now versus later when you're on the verge of burnout or breakdown. And if you're not on the verge of burnout or breakdown, I'm speaking to you from like actual experience of working with so many moms in real estate who are in their cars crying because they don't want more business. They wish they would have had systems set up a long time ago. So I do have a coaching cohort that is strategic scale. So you can send me a DM. We're starting the foundations this Thursday. This Thursday is foundations, and that is for agents that are selling 0 to 10 million. And then on Tuesday, so the calls are Thursdays, and I can get you a lot more information about that. I have a landing page, all of that. So if you haven't reached that 10 million spot and you really want to get the foundation set up for your business, I do have that cohort that is kicking off on Thursday. And then I have the cohort that is kicking off on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the cohort that kicks off is for agents that are selling 10 mil plus, and they really want to grow and scale. And that's like a different level. So if you're selling over 10 million, I'd love to talk to you about what that looks like. And you're in two different communities with different, like you're in whichever community you're in, but you're in a community with like-minded agents selling around the same sales volume as you and growing at the same level that you are. So the agents that are saying they don't want more leads aren't sitting here crying about their leads. For the agents that are like, oh my gosh, I want more business, but I just really want to get systems in place and be organized. You're around agents that are around the same talking combo as you. All right. And that's all. I didn't see if there was any questions along the way, but I am here for it. If there's any questions that y'all saw pop up, take the reins, Kristen.
A lot of comments, no questions. Unless Randy, you might be seeing some.
No, same thing. Just so Mariah sent you a message to connect on Instagram, and just lots of thank yous and so good. So I think you did a great job walking everybody through it and letting them know how they can take the next steps with you. Oh, are you on mute or is that just me?
No, she's not. She's not on mute.
What the heck? Where'd she go?
I don't know.
So one question is from Christy, who I know very well. And should she apply for an LLC? And so, yeah, Christy, you should definitely start with an LLC, and we'll talk about when it would make sense in your business to move to an S Corp. And we can talk about that a little bit more. But I love that. I love that Tina got you thinking about that.
Yeah.
And then, yes, Tina shared her Instagram handle as well, which is just Tina_Marie Gamble. So yay, friend. Well, thank you for kicking off our Monday. So much goodness. And
those cohorts too, you meant not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, correct? Oh crap, we can't hear you. But I did see a yes.
Me too. She's going to type it.
She's like, I'm going to type it in.
She's improvising. But ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. February 5th is Foundations. So that will be Thursday. Yep, that'll be perfect. Yeah. So, all right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. And thank you. Oh, wait, let me see.
Real quick. Put the next comment up real quick. The 10th is for agents. So that's next Tuesday. Perfect.
So 10 million and above starts next Tuesday.
Awesome. And she's like, one more thing, I'm going to type it out. So weird.
Yeah, I'm so glad it didn't happen during anything. Like, if it's going to happen, this was the right time for it to happen, right?
That's the truth. She said, just DM me and let's talk. That's correct. That's the way. And she said, thanks for having me. All right. We love you, Tina.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.